Hey golfers, and welcome to Second Swing Golf here in Minnetonka. We are at the Tour Van and joined today by Mr. Kevin Kraft. He is here from the Columbia store. Flew in for some video filming. You'll see a lot of stuff on the channel here coming soon. We also recorded a podcast that will be available later today as well, so look forward to that. But Mr. Kraft, we wanted to go through and kind of just review / maybe test some of the new 2023 clubs, both some of the stuff maybe that was released right away earlier in January, and also some of the more recent stuff that we're excited about. So we talked on the podcast a little bit about some of maybe the more recent releases out there.
Yeah.
You know, the Mizuno STG Woods. We talked about TaylorMade Spider Tours. We talked about Callaway Irons. So I guess of the releases, maybe since I know we were together for the Titleist T Series irons.
Yeah.
And maybe since then, of these kind of latest launches, is there maybe a favorite that you have out there?
I think Mizuno's really hit a great spot with the new STGs. They performance wise, looks wise, feel wise, everything's really good. Mizuno's definitely still an up and comer in the metalwoods category, but you're not selling yourself short if you go, "Oh, I'm really interested in that." Right? The stuff is very, very good. The new STG's really solid.
Yeah, it's I think they've done a really good job over the years of cleaning up the way that their drivers look, and especially one like that where I can actually go grab it here in a second. But so you got the STG 440 right here, and the way they've cleaned up the sole they have the two movable or weight tracks, but to clean it up and make it look that clean, I think is really, really good by them. And then you can still obviously, if you're that player that likes to adjust things or get particular with settings, you can certainly do that here. I know you're that type of player.
So I am. I'm typically a set it and leave it kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't tinker with all the things that I tinker on. Settings on drivers tend not to be one of them.
Yeah. So with that said, we are asking viewers out there, if you're joining today, maybe you're joining late, what we're going to try to do if you're interested in a comparison or a particular club that we might want to hit or test, give your feedback on, please leave it in the chat. We'll be monitoring that throughout the live stream. I know we haven't done one of these in a while. So we're trying to fire
I'm
them
new
up a
to this
little bit.
one.
But yeah, that's true. I don't think we've done a live with you. So. But we have TrackMan here set up, and we can do some testing and give you some information on new clubs. So we actually have a question come in now here from Dennis. He's asking about a driver. He's looking for a driver and a 5-wood. He's 46 with around 90 miles an hour swing speed. Should he go regular or stiff flex on both of them? So driver and 5-wood. I think he's already on the right path with some of that stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, the general rules tend to be with driver 95 to 105 is stiff, 85 to 95 is regular. But there can be some different caveats to that, where somebody that's really smooth and transitions kind of nice and easy. That person's probably going to benefit from regular flex a little bit. And then if you're up here at the top and you're really making a strong move from the top, might benefit from stiff. This is one of those things where you want to go get fit, right? You want to go and test those things against each other and see what works better, what feels better to you, what produces better numbers. In general, stiffer flex oftentimes produces a little bit tighter dispersion. I've done plenty of stiff flex, and I've even done X flex for somebody that's swinging 90 miles an hour. It's really all about the feel and the numbers.
And it can also mean, you might look at what Dennis does now with maybe a current driver. I mean, if he's hitting the ball really, really high with a ton of spin, something, maybe a stiff flex might be able to bring that down. That's probably caused by maybe, like you're mentioning, maybe quick transition where that club leg's behind a little bit. So
you might have a little bit of negative angle of attack, right? So going into something that changes our spin rates a little bit would be a good thing. So
I think the answer is if he's deciding between regular and stiff, maybe the default general answer based on his swing speed would be regular.
Correct.
But if you're still seeing similar results, maybe trying the stiff after that, maybe getting it switched out might be the answer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, what we can do to start then, I think what we want to do for a while with this driver, we did our swing report on the STG 440, but we did not play around with different settings necessarily. And so what we could do is, we could play around with both weights in the fade setting, both weights in the draw, see the difference there for the viewers. So let's hit a few shots with that. Maybe we can get
Okay.
warmed up if you need to with
Okay.
an iron, or maybe you're just ready to rip driver.
I'll try it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what
Okay.
happens. It's probably not going to be very fast getting started, but that's okay. Do we want to start with this just in the
Yeah, let's just
kinda
do
in
standard.
the-
Let's just do it.
the very forgiving setting?
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, if that's a great way to start, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll do start with the STG, and we've got weights, both weights back.
Yep.
Okay.
So, interestingly enough, you look down at this and it looks small, right? The
Does it?
440
That's
440 is
that's-
not looking
yeah.
particularly big here, but it's a very attractive shape, really clean top, looks awesome, deep face. So I'm expecting this to produce pretty low launch.
Mhm.
Honestly, we've got this at 9.5 degrees, which should be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Highest MOI setting. So this is a 440 driver. This is designed to be a little lower launch, lower spin, but we've got the weights all the way back. So this is in its most forgiving setting.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, yeah, you hit a few swings, and then I'll. There's a couple more things that came through with the chat here that we can discuss. So.
Okay. Yeah, a little faster than I thought maybe it'd be.
Alfonso says, "Greetings. I'm playing one length Cobra irons for 7, 6, and 5 and a hybrid. I don't control long clubs very well. My 5 wood is 40 3/4 inches length. Am I missing too much distance or speed?" So the one length. So I think he's referring to as his longer clubs are
Yeah.
much shorter in length than maybe standard.
Yeah. So in terms of doing one length, I like that. The longer things being one length, it does make things easier, right?
Mhm.
Shorter clubs are easier to hit. So if I'm doing a set of one length, I always propose to the individual, maybe we do the longer things in one length and then kind of go, normal in the shorter clubs, just to try to keep it
Sure,
being
sure.
easier, right? The issue for me would be gapping.
Yeah,
Right.
that was
And
what I was going to mention.
That's where if you're missing out, it would be is if you don't have the proper gaps. Right. Every club in the bag's got to have a purpose, and it's got to have a number
Mhm.
attached to it. So,
As long as the clubs are gapped enough, where there's 10, 15 yards between each of them, I think it's all fine and good.
yeah,
They're
absolutely.
just, I know when you get 6 iron, 5 iron, a hybrid are all the same length.
Yeah.
That can sometimes diminish the distance gapping between them, right?
Correct,
The
right.
added length of a club is supposed to be the reason it goes further.
Yeah, we don't have the benefit of the longer club swinging faster. So,
Yeah.
we have to make sure that the lofts are good, that the ball speed difference is good,
Hmm.
and then just making sure the gaps are where we want them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not really the speed that we're worried about, Alfonso. I
No,
think it's
it's
probably
not.
just the gapping piece. The
Yeah.
speed is not a huge problem as long as you have 10 to 15 yards between each club. So, Eric is asking about the forgiveness lost from moving from the G430 Max 3-wood to the G430 LST.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
The LST's got a lot more weight forward,
Mhm.
so it does reduce the the forgiveness a bit. It's not like I don't think if you're a reasonable striker of the golf ball, that going from the Max to the LST you're gonna find it that much more challenging.
Right.
LST is pretty big head.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you put it down and you think, oh well, that's just pretty forgiving based on the size of it.
Yeah.
The way it's designed is just with more weight forward, so maybe a little lower launch, definitely some lower spin, fast ball speed.
Yeah.
That thing was a
I
beast
remember
when we had
we
it
did the
outside.
we did the
Oh,
swing report video
yeah.
for the G430 LST
was
Currywood, and
so good.
I think you were considering
Yeah,
putting that in the bag as a stronger.
If I hadn't gone with what I
two-wood
did go
option.
with, I probably would have that in the bag right
Yeah,
now.
it was definitely had some speed to it. for sure.
It did. Eric, if you're looking for more out of your 3-wood, but you're worried about the forgiveness, I would say don't worry too much about the forgiveness. That LST is a really easy club to hit. and you're not going to go from, super success with one to struggling with the other. I don't think.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. We do have a request I see for a comparison.
Oh, okay.
So I know we talked about hitting that driver,
Yeah.
but Adrian actually wants to see a comparison between the ZX Utility
Okay.
and the U505.
Okay. Let me go. Let
So,
me go fetch.
so Kevin will go fetch the clubs, the ZX Utility and the Titleist U505. I'll do my best to answer some of these questions that are on here as well. I'll go here, Stratojet, 84 miles an hour driver speed, TSI 1 woman hybrid 6, with an R3 shaft. To my surprise, hit it well. Is there any drawbacks to this? No, I mean, no. I think that's one of the maybe misconceptions, not really misconceptions, but I think a lot of golfers should be trying that strategy a lot, because I think what our fitters always say in the Bay is that the ball doesn't know, or the clubs don't even know for that matter, who's swinging. They just know that the ball needs to go to a certain target. So it's all about your swing and how it fits to a particular club. And if that setup is working for you, I don't see any reason not to use it. If you're hitting it really well, keep doing it. That would be my recommendation. And again, I wouldn't call myself a certified fitter to Kevin's level, but I converse and talk and learned a lot from these guys, and that's what they preach. They find the clubs that work. Doesn't matter what color they are. Doesn't matter what shaft flex it might be, as long as it works for that swing. So Paul's asking, the desires to have a 4-wood. Is it generally better to use a 15-degree 3-wood via adding loft to 16.5, or use an 18-degree 5-wood via delofting down to 16.5? That's a good question, and there's a couple of different things to consider with that, because I think if you're very serious about getting a 16.5 degree club, there are options out there. I know, for example, TaylorMade for the longest time offered some of their 3-woods in an HL, which would be basically a 3-wood, a standard loft of 16.5. I believe those options are out there. You can probably look at secondswing.com to find a bunch of those up there if you're really serious about that. But if you're deciding between these two, so the 3-wood going up to 16.5 will, in most cases with the hosel on that particular club, will actually close the face a little bit, the face angle. So you'll, I guess, in a way, that ball will probably minimally start a little bit more to the left. Whereas if you go with a 5-wood and loft it down to 16.5, typically with the hosels, that actually will open the face a little bit. So depends maybe where your miss might be with that club. If you are struggling with the accuracy one way or the other, maybe that can help you. So for example, if you are missing potentially right, or maybe that's your miss with a 3-wood, and you still want that 16.5, you could loft it up to 16.5. David asking about T150 versus Apex Pro. So T150, I think, is, to me, I think it might be the best club that Titleist has released in the T Series. They've got a ton of really good irons throughout the T Series history. T150, though, has been fantastic. Great combination. I think they've done a great job really splitting the difference between T100 and T200. And so if you're looking for, I guess, soft feel and consistency, I think T150 is going to be the answer, versus Apex Pro probably is a little bit more distance oriented, like this most recent model. So if you're deciding between those two, I think if you want ball speed and distance, I think Apex Pro might be the winner. But if you're trying to still kind of save a lot of that feel and that control, I think T150 is the answer. So I think we have some utility irons here.
Yeah.
We've got the ZX Utility. We've got the U505. First, while we're here, Kevin, thoughts on the look of the two of them?
Yeah. So the ZX is, to my eye, a little bit more appealing. I like the finish on it. I like the size of the sole. The U505 is she's kind of big down there.
Yeah.
So they're both here to do a job.
Yeah.
So my personal I carry in my car when I'm traveling previous gen Srixon driving iron in a 2, so I'm kind of predisposed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I say we hit a few shots with each one.
Okay.
And we'll see if there's any differences there.
Start with Srixon.
We've got a comparable shaft. Obviously, you can't, I guess, unattach and reattach the same shaft for both. So we've got
Yeah. Unfortunately, with driving irons, there's very few out there, excuse me, that are adjustable. So
we got it's a 4
it's
iron.
It's 4-iron,
basically.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
and then I'll switch this here. We'll go to tags. Let's see here. Is that starting with the ZX?
Yeah.
Okay, ZX utility. And we'll hit some shots here. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little toey.
So I think we'll probably, obviously, what we like to do too is make sure we get good quality shots in the testing. That's more me. That's That's basically me insulting you on that shot. So.
No, it's okay. Look, I'm gonna hit bad shots. You know, I am not a robot, so totally okay. That was, as I like to say, more solid.
That sounded like it was hit pretty well. So I guess for you, Kevin, I mean, I know you're still kind of getting getting loose with the swing, if you will, a little bit here. But a 4 utility iron, those are probably about 21 degrees aloft usually. 23, okay.
Yeah. So it.
Oh, yeah, I suppose I was thinking of I guess a 3 iron typically is closer to 20. Yeah. But I guess before we really get in some good numbers here, do you have a prediction on distance for a club like that for you?
So say in that 10-ish range, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I know this utility iron has been a favorite, and I believe on tour it's been still one of those that this is the model from the previous gen, right? Or is this the most recent one? This is the most recent one? Okay. Because I know the previous one is a very popular one that has stayed in bags on tour a lot. So obviously a fantastic product.
Yeah.
There we go. I like how high that ball's going. Yeah.
The shaft is a little bit different than a 4-iron.
Yep.
You should expect ball speed. With ball speed, oftentimes we're able to create more trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we're looking for. So, 4-iron, maybe not that go-to tee club, right? But we can probably extrapolate from 4 to a 2.
Yeah.
You know how it's going to feel, how it's going to play. But anytime we're going to hit a shot coming into the greens, we want that trajectory. We want to get that good landing angle so that ball can stop.
Yep.
So, I like 107 feet, 40. Anything over 45-degree landing angle is kind of always going to be our target if we can get we can get there. Ball speed wise.
With a utility iron, that's usually pretty good because there's options out there in this category that are higher launching or can create a steeper landing angle than utility iron. There's hybrids, there's 7 woods, right? There's those options out there, but there are a lot of players that I'm kind of one of them where I just don't have confidence with a hybrid or so the utility iron look is preferred, but you still need the performance to hit the ball high enough, create the shot you need, and that's really good.
I don't love hybrids,
Yeah.
but I keep 2 of them in my bag because they just simply do what I need them to do.
Yeah. I think I need to overcome that mental hump myself. So get maybe 1 or 2 more at this point, then we can try the U505.
Hang her out to the right. It's all right.
Getting plenty of height though. I like that.
Yeah. Now, ball hanging out to the right, probably getting a little more trajectory than the ball squared up. But I'm reasonably high launching, high trajectory guy anyway. So.
All right. So
108 versus 110. Okay, 2 feet. 2 feet.
2 feet.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so we hit. Let's see. That is my math is what 7 shots there. I know you were maybe these first couple you were kind of warming.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe just take those out for the sake of the numbers here, and we got 5 good ones probably with the ZX. Pretty good start though.
Yeah.
As I get set up here for this next one, I did see a couple more chats come in that we can maybe answer here.
So I did see that Eric had followed up with a question about.
We got a microphone adjustment.
Oh, good. All right. Scroll back up for me on there if you can. I wanted to
Yep.
answer his question.
Oops. Oh, I can't scroll right now. Here we go. At the big cursor.
The big cursor.
About line angles.
Let's see. Yeah. So, Ping's an easy one to go to because they have a flat setting. Eric's asking about.
It says when you're fitting a player who really needs flat line angles to help prevent hooks, what are some of your go-to hybrids?
Yeah, so Ping would be one of the ones. The other one, Cobra King Tech.
Yeah,
it's the only one out there that we've got adjustable weights in. We can throw all
true.
that weight up in the toe. If you're looking to not hook the ball with a hybrid, King Tech is to me the best of the best of the group.
Sure.
No bias there. Look, I love all this. I love all this equipment, but in the testing that I've done, that King Tech hybrid is it's just golden.
Sure. After we're done with this comparison, we also got one from John asking for Apex 21 versus the new Apex Pro potentially.
Oh,
so that'd would be a good one because I think Apex Pro, this new model, seems like it's more players distance built a little bit more than maybe the past ones.
So when they went to the cup face, a couple generations ago, that was when that Apex Pro really did go more of that player.
Yeah,
distance,
that's true. You can kind of hear it too at impact.
You can absolutely.
Yeah.
There's definitely that little more crisp click. All right, so
U505.
Yeah, 505. I don't off the very top of my head know what the loft is on this. So
gosh, I should know. I want to say it's 21, but I might be wrong about that because I'm pretty sure it goes 17, 19, 21.
22.
Okay, 22.
Now, not that our are always perfect, but it does say 22.
Okay, so we'll
go off of that.
So with the ZX utility, we were carrying the ball a little over 200 yards.
208,
over 100 feet
was pretty good. Was what I would have expected. Yeah.
All right, U505.
Right. Yeah, a little bigger. See a little more of the backside on this one.
It's a good first ball there.
Okay.
I thought the sound again. There's a couple more.
It's a little higher pitch.
I thought it was higher pitch too. Yeah,
definitely. A little more metallic sounding, maybe. There's that little hanger. It's going a little bit lower, looks like. That one was hit good. There we go. That's
wow.
That's what we're looking for right there.
Let's see where we're at for shots here.
I think that's 3.
We got 3. Oh, only 3. Okay, I'm losing my mind. I hit 3 of them.
That's what I want right there.
Yeah, that's a good ball.
That's the idea.
The trajectory is pretty darn good.
Yeah. And that one's skinny. Something I have not been accused of being for quite a while now. Whew. Still, right? That one was thin. Still got 193 out of it.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna lose some distance there, but it wasn't absolutely
well, and also the
punishing.
ball's dead straight still.
Well,
so
yeah. Pace and path. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And that one was toey. That one's gonna go left.
That's interesting. That's we should, if you what I've noticed and I've learned through club fitting and TrackMan testing and stuff is if you're going to miss off the toe.
Yeah, that's
specifically high toe. Because this one we can bring that up, we can see the a little bit high toe there.
Yep.
Ball still goes 220 total yards. Now
Yeah.
it's probably going to get there a different way. It's going to tumble there. It's going to dive out of the sky and kind of tumble forward.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we bring up we'll go to the total here. That ball's still right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you hated it right off the bat.
Oh yeah, did not make a very good swing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's hit one more. Then we'll have. I think we'll have 5-on-5. Redemption. Okay.
Redemption. That was hit well.
A little hanger, but that's okay.
All right, let's see here. So we've got our best 5. What do you think the best 5? This one for sure is out.
Yeah, that one.
That's probably it right
Yep.
there, huh?
Yep.
Okay. So looking at the U505 and the ZX Utility.
Spin rates very comparable. Here we're talking about 2 golf clubs that are pretty much designed to do the same thing, doing the same thing.
Yep.
Carry yardage within a yard.
Yep.
This one did launch lower. Definitely launched lower.
It did.
1.4 degrees. So
Which there was a loft difference of, I think it was 1 degree. 1 degree.
So 6 feet in trajectory. Landing angle was definitely a little better on that Srixon, right?
Yeah.
I want to see that landing angle over 45 degrees, if at all possible.
Yeah.
So, not that we couldn't take this, put it in a bar, and give it another degree of loft.
Do what needs to be done.
There are ways. I actually got more out of this. I hit this better, 146 smash factor versus 144.
Mm-hmm.
Both good, pretty similar. A lot of it can come down to aesthetics. As so many things do for me.
Right.
I like the look of the Srixon a little bit better. I like the feel a little bit better. It's a little softer feeling off the face.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I'm prone to like.
Sure. Yeah, I mean this is a good one though. I like this.
Numbers were 2 clubs doing very much what they're
supposed to do. Right. That's the best part. So I think what we can do now is we can try to see again. We'll have to see if we can. There's got to be an Apex 21 in the inventory. We won't have the fitting head, I don't think, anymore for the Apex 21.
Yeah, I'll see what I can find out there.
We'll try the new Apex Pro, and then the Apex 21 head to head. Kevin will go look for those, and then before you do that though, Eric's got a question about the counterbalance putters.
Okay.
So, do you ever fit people into counterbalance putters? And if I wanted to make one myself, just to tinker after seeing the Jailbird.
Yeah.
Any idea what head weight might be a good starting point?
So the whole counterbalance thing is really a feel thing. So some people like it, some people don't. I think the head weight on that Jailbird is 380. So, and they do that one at 39 inches.
Yeah.
So there could be some variability based on, what length you actually want to go with.
Yeah.
All the Jailbirds that we've gotten in have been the same length.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, what I would say is let's get you to a shop, get a good feel for what that counterbalance does for you, whether you like the feel of all that weight up top, and then, mess around with that length. 39's a little long for me. I just can't quite accommodate it at this point. Maybe springtime, if I'm better behaved this winter, I might be able to do that. But I like a 35-inch putter that I choke down a little bit.
Okay.
And that provides a little tiny bit of counterbalance.
Yeah.
I don't typically put the weights in and make that change, but that's just a feel thing for me. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, ultimately with anything, it's a little bit of a trial and error. You won't really know for certain until you try something. But
I would definitely say let's try to get a feel for it before you throw money at it. Just so that you're not laying out a whole bunch of money on something that you end up finding you don't really like.
Okay. So I think let's try to find an Apex 21.
Okay.
Versus
regular 21 or 21 Pro.
The regular was the comparison.
Okay.
That's what John said.
I like it.
Yeah, and then we'll do the Apex Pro, the new version of that. So
beautiful. Yeah.
Yep. John said, "Love my Srixon ZX hybrid with the Evenflow Riptide X Flex. The only hybrids I can flight low or high with enough spin." Yeah, the Srixon ZX hybrid is a good one too. I remember doing the testing on that. Was really impressed by the pop off the club face for that one. So that was a really, really good one, and I'm not surprised that you're enjoying that one. So I also will remind viewers as well, we are taking requests for club comparisons here. Sort of, we will do what we can to accommodate them. I know even like this one with the Apex 21, we may or may not have the Apex 21 irons, say, in our used inventory, say in a standard lie angle, right? We might have several that are already adjusted in their lie angles and might be a little off. We'll do what, Kevin's going to see what he can find out there for a comparison. But if you have something that you're curious about, we will also go back and look at that. We're going to maybe do a few of those here today. And then obviously, if you have any questions as well, throw them in the chat and we will do our best to answer them. So I'm going to look back at this comparison from the U505 and ZX Utility here too, because I think it's fun to just look back at the numbers here, and we didn't even bring up the dispersion either, which maybe we should have for this comparison. But it is kind of funny how close together those things are. If you can see that on the TrackMan, how close together those circles are and the dots are. It goes to show really those clubs are very close together. They do a lot of the same thing, a lot of the same purposes for each other. So. Can you test a utility T200 versus a Ping Eye crossover? Yes, we absolutely can. I love that idea, actually. We are going to see what Kevin brings back for this Apex 21 versus the current Apex Pro. We'll see. We'll do that test, and then we'll jump to T200 utility versus eye crossover. I can say, though, on that one, I have a Ping Eye crossover in the bag, and I love it. I put a 3-iron in probably about a month ago now. Yeah, about a month ago I put it in the bag, and it's exactly what I needed. I was using my set of I500 irons and the 3-iron on the top of that as my kind of utility club, but put this in the bag. I can hit the low kind of wind ball with it, and I can also flight it up high for a kind of a fade if I need to for a long approach shot. So I guess of those two, without doing any testing, I like the eye crossover personally, but do we have options here? Oh, we got the smoke black one
I
too.
know.
Wow.
So sexy. Really, really good looking. I was very happy.
Wow.
One set we only had in reg. Thankfully, we got these in stiff. So
Okay.
matched up the shafts. So
Okay.
it's a fair test all the way.
Nice. Yeah. I forgot completely about the smoke finish on the.
So good.
So
I think they said they were going to not do that going forward, which is really sad.
that is sad.
I think they felt like the black heads had run their course. I tend to disagree.
I think we're seeing some more of those though from other manufacturers.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And honestly, they do these limited runs now, and
Yeah.
everything sells out like that.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
It's a great business model.
So, Apex
yeah,
21 and Apex Pro, the new one. I guess which one do you want to hit first?
I'll hit the regular Apex.
Okay.
Give myself a little more forgiveness going into this.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to back out of this and then restart our session here on TrackMan.
Now, I have no idea what the line is on this, but it does not appear to be particularly upright, so that's good.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to have, it's obviously, we, the lie angles and making sure those are. I'll try to be.
I could go set it up, but we'll see how it goes.
Apex 21. Okay.
This really is good looking in the black finish.
So I still think, based on what I know about these clubs, that the Apex 21 is built. It's probably stronger lofted, still built a little more players distance than the Apex Pro, but I do think the Apex Pro it's close, right?
Yeah.
They're built very similarly.
Still gonna be
cup.
Still gonna be more player oriented, right?
For cup base.
You look at Xander Schauffele that's been playing Apex Pros.
Yep.
So the big change for Callaway was when they went to the cup face.
Yep.
Giving it that little extra ball speed, but it's still that golf club that guys that want good full control are gonna play. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is your first iron swing of the day.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can obviously get some warm-up swings in too if you need to.
If I can swing a driver, I should be able to should be able to swing.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't normally do that dive into the driver first thing. That's painful at my age, but
That's what it's kind of what I had you. That was probably unfair of me to just say, here you go, here's a Mizuno driver.
Well, you were hitting it. I mean, I had to do something.
I suppose.
So, all right, shorter shaft, a little thin.
Oh, then the driver?
Yeah.
yeah. Got to get accustomed to the setup of an iron versus
81's a little low for me.
or utility iron for that matter. So a couple swings in, I'm actually, I will say, I don't know how the strike has been on those two, but I think the sound is actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I think it's a lot quieter than I would thought.
I mean, it sounds good. Truth be told, I love the Apex line.
Yeah.
I've always loved what Callaway has done. They've honored this name, this really storied name so well since they brought out that original Apex. I haven't personally loved the sound of the Apex Pros the last couple gen with that cup face. I played it back in 2015, back when I was on Callaway staff, and that Apex Pro was awesome. Had all the feels.
Right.
But those numbers aren't bad.
Oh, there we go.
Uh-huh.
So is this kind of what you would expect numbers wise?
Yeah. Something just over 170 would probably be about what I would expect to see with this. The lofts that I play, even though I play, a CB head, I have them tuned up a little bit. I like my distances. I'm going to keep them as long as I can. Going to be fairly similar to this, I think. Yeah. I mean, they're not crazy jacked up, a couple degrees, but that felt good.
Nice.
Okay.
It's a good ball.
Cool.
Hitting it plenty high.
Yeah. That's trajectory is not usually the issue.
So, and to clarify as well for the viewers, we're using the RCT Pro V1.
Yes, regular Pro V1. Yep. Which is the ball I play. So
then that works perfect.
Yeah. Okay. That's
all right. We got some good swings up there.
That seems pretty reasonable.
All right. Oh, that's 5 of them. Perfect.
First one, we can throw that first one out.
Okay. Yeah, maybe not quite.
I wasn't used to swinging something.
Still warming up.
Yeah.
So we'll get the best 4 from each club here. This is kind of where we're at right now. That's a pretty good dispersion.
Not bad. Yeah.
You could almost cover 3 of them with the cursor.
I can make that cursor bigger.
The big cursor.
Yeah.
Can it actually go bigger than this?
Yeah.
The cursor was Kevin's choice.
I like a big cursor. What can I say?
Okay. All right. So now
I practically need readers for everything, but
I suppose whatever you got to do. Apex Pro now, the new Apex Pro. So I guess what do you see at address there? Does it in terms of size? I know you had the black club head versus this one, so it might be a little tougher to see that.
The dark club head does produce a little more of a compact look.
It does, okay.
Which is fine. I mean, there's a reason why TaylorMade went to a white club head back in the day for drivers was to make it look bigger and more forgiving. So
interesting. I didn't actually know that was why.
Well, it also stood out, and everybody knew it was a TaylorMade. So
good point too.
They're extremely good.
I do remember watching, golf on TV back then, and it was.
I remember being so offended. I'm so offended. White driver. Who's going to do that, right? What do I know? I should just shut up and swing. So size-wise, we're not talking apples to porcupines here. They're pretty similar. Apex is a little tiny bit bigger.
Yeah.
But it's not. Okay. It's not markedly.
Sure.
It's not like, oh wow, look at this huge thing on a stick, and boy, this thing's small, right?
Right.
So, all right. Man, that was heavy. Now that's more what I'm being accused of.
We do have some more questions in the chat. We will get to those here. We'll finish this comparison quick, and then we'll get to a few of those questions here. And I did see another comparison suggestion as well from Paul, so we'll look at that. Might be an interesting one. Make Kevin hit all kinds of different clubs today.
That's fine. I haven't practiced for a while, so put me through it. All good.
I like it. I mean, I'm not surprised to see the distance drop a little bit. I think these are probably weaker lofts too.
Yeah. Might help if I made some better swings. I made some really good swings with the Apex.
Is that
Haven't,
just thin or what?
yeah, just then. I just haven't quite gotten that sweet swing going here. That was better. Anytime I see 120 on ball speed, I'm usually a pretty happy kid. There we go. That's
Nice.
better. That's better. Thin. See if I
I
can
like
get
it.
one more good solid one here.
Face maybe open a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all right.
Still,
Okay.
still a fine shot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Apex Pro. Let's see. There was certainly this first one.
Yeah.
This one here.
Spin consistency was really
I mean, if we take
good.
out those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep all of them. It's going to be a 5 versus 4, which is not perfect, I know, but I wanted to keep all those in there. So here's our dispersion difference between the two. Apex 21, Apex Pro 24. I don't know. Is there maybe an element to that? Was it of turning it over, or is that just kind of your swings in that,
So
in that given
I did
sequence?
go with the 2 degrees flat here.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did because that's just what I play 2 degrees flat. So
Okay. That might be the reason it's a little bit-
maybe just a little tiny bit late with the hands.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
All right, so numbers here. Interesting. Swung it a little faster with the Apex Pro. I mean, mile and a half, that's not a huge deal, but
No.
more efficient with the Apex 21.
Yep.
Makes sense. It's going to have a little bit more pop to it.
Yeah.
I also am not surprised to see a little bit more spin variation with an Apex Pro, or excuse me, the Apex 21, just given it's, it's a larger club head designed more
Yeah.
for distance and speed, not necessarily for consistency.
Though that variance is actually really not
It is.
bad.
It is.
It's
It
just
just this one is,
crazy good on
this one's
on-
remarkable
yeah,
and
yeah.
fantastic.
And it was same shaft all the way through. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
same shaft model.
Yeah.
Just one is black because of the smoke design. I think it's the Elevate. Is that what it is?
yeah.
Elevate. Yeah. So gained a little, or I guess lost a little bit of distance with the Apex Pro 24, which makes sense.
3 yards.
Actually, I'm surprised it was that small of a difference.
Yeah.
Launch higher, which makes sense
Yep.
with more loft.
Yep. Path was about.
You're swinging the club pretty darn consistently.
Face angle was the issue, right?
Yeah, just
What are
had
we
the
talking about? Face angle is everybody's problem.
Yeah.
Including
Yeah. Face angle, as you said, is the hardest thing in golf, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're very comparable clubs.
They are.
I think if you're deciding between the two of them, it's a matter of, are you looking for, if distance is important to you, you're looking for more of it, or you're trying to maintain distance. Apex 21 is probably the play of these two. But if you are okay losing a few yards, and maybe want even maybe like a smaller, more compact iron, Apex Pro 24, is just as good. And we saw the dispersion. I mean, they're both really good dispersion patterns. They're both really consistent. So, is there any other? I mean, there's obviously the preference of appearance is the other piece of this that we don't know for.
So we don't know what the new
for
one's
John
going to be
here.
like. I think we're going to see a new Apex at the beginning of the year. I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah.
The 21, I looked down at this, and this is really the way I want a golf club to look.
Yeah.
Like Callaway's had my shape for a long, long time, and I've loved the Apex for its aesthetics. The new Pro is definitely different. It's roundier. What I call the crotch is a little higher. So I'm personally maybe a little disappointed that they went away from their traditional shape.
Yeah.
Just because it's been something that I've so much enjoyed, looking at.
Sure.
From a feel standpoint, they both feel great.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be disappointed going one way or the other. Lofts, could be a thing.
Yeah.
If you're
And those can always be customized too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
in
absolutely.
a custom order with if you're getting fit in the tour van, I mean, we can
sure.
massage those as needed. So.
Yeah. I can't wait till we get the new standard Apex so that we can do a little more combo
Hmm.
set because this is going to be a little bit easier to hit in the longer irons.
Yeah, yeah,
So
totally. And I
yeah,
think that's what there's blended sets are the hot topic right now
yeah,
in golf and ordering sets. So,
yep,
um, sweet. So that's kind of we answered some questions there. I think everything that happened in the testing makes sense.
yeah,
So,
yeah. All right,
let's
let's answer some questions.
yeah, let's go. Let's do that. So we've got a few in here to tackle. I'm going to go back up here, kind of since we're on the Apex Pro. Um, let's answer this one from Paul. T150, Apex Pro, I230. Pick one and why. That's a good question.
That one's hard, man. Especially when it comes down to T150 versus the I230 because they're both such great.
I
They're
think
really
they
such
do. They
great
are
irons.
different enough between the three of them. Like they have their own
Yeah,
really good
yeah.
perks to them.
I love the T150. It's built on a slightly different chassis from the 100, which I think is a great separation from
Yeah,
where it was before with the 100 and the 100S and
100S.
just the
Yeah,
2 degrees.
I think splitting them up
Yeah,
was good.
makes it just a little bit more forgiving, which I like. I'm personally, I love the I230. It looks good to me, feels good to
Hmm.
me. Um, if I were to go away from what I'm currently playing, there's a decent likelihood that I would go to 230.
Yeah,
Um,
I230
but
is good.
that
That's good.
again, that is just so personal preference,
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna get very similar numbers out
Yeah,
of
we're
all of
talking
them.
about golf clubs again. They're designed to do the same thing. So
I always tend to think so, and I've hit all of these before. I think if you're looking for just absolute consistency, I like the face design of the I230.
yep,
The added grooves in there
yep,
have worked really well.
yep.
I've noticed a difference. I have I210 still in the bag. I've noticed a difference in when I've tested I230. Um, T150 is going to be, I think, probably aesthetically for me the best. I think it's a really compact look. It's
Hmm.
just so clean. And then Apex Pro, I think we've talked a little bit about just a little bit more distance properties to it.
Yeah,
So it does depend a little bit of what you're after, but I think they've
yeah,
separated themselves enough between the three of
yeah.
them. So
If I'm picking, I guess I'm going to go I230. Yeah.
let's see here. We got trying to find that other one up here. Here we go. Quick. So Joe says quick, aggressive transition and an early release slash flippy. Looking
Mm.
for an iron shaft with a high bend profile and a lower balance point. Name one shaft from talking about Dynamic Gold, KBS, or Modus that might fit that profile.
All right, aggressive transition,
Early release.
early release. Ooh, hmm, that's a challenging one. Um,
Also, we probably would need speed a little bit too on something like this because you need speed and kind of the tempo.
yeah, I mean, if you're looking for that, for the higher kick point, you're looking at you know the standard dynamic gold.
Yeah.
It's gonna be heavier weight. Um, that's gonna give us that kick point. Try to keep it down. Uh, KBS could be C taper, could be money taper. Money
Mm.
taper is a little smoother feeling. Um, and Modus, I'd probably end up going with the 120.
120.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean
I mean,
those
assuming this player.
to try to fight this. I think going heavier
Yeah.
is
Right. That's kind
really
of what you're saying
what's going
with
to make
all
the
of these.
most sense because if we're trying to keep loft down and trying to get things up, if we're going to use shaft to do it,
Yeah.
going heavier, going to a low
More
launch
stable.
shaft, yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Honestly, if you go dynamic, if you're talking about dynamic gold, if we're talking about true temper, we could also go into Project X,
Right.
and go into something like a PX60 or
Hmm.
LS. Again, not knowing what the spin profile is, not knowing what the trajectory is, those things all factor into
Yes.
what we would want to do. Um, Ideally, I'd love to fix the flip.
Yeah.
If we can fix the flip, then everything changes. And here's the problem, right? If we go full on, let's throw club stuff at it, right? Shafts and make all those changes. And then we figure out what we want. Are we then going to be in the right shafts for us, right? So my recommendation on that one would be let's try to work on that flip,
Yeah.
right? So I see it a lot. It's not an easy one because you don't know that you're doing it. the whole idea is going to be to just try to keep the hands working further forward. Now, this
Mhm.
is exaggerated. This position here is
Yeah, yeah.
exaggerated, but um, what I would tell customers to work on, one of the drills that I really like is taking the club to the top and then trying to create a slow motion swing. It's not easy necessarily to do. It takes a while to develop a good slow motion swing, but if we can try to get that feel of just getting those hands forward, left arm over the left leg, um, go to the range and really just kind of maybe try to set it and hold it on
Mhm.
through. The trick and the hard part is going to be doing this in slow motion or in small swings is easy. Doing it when you're
It's a
standing
muscle
up there
memory
and
thing.
letting
You've got
it
to do it a
go,
lot.
yeah,
You've got to do it a
absolutely.
lot. Yeah.
It's unfortunately going to be a lot of reps. It's not one of the easiest things to
Yeah.
necessarily fix, but I feel the plight for sure. I worry about just throwing shafts at it to try to make that be the fix.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's one from Ben. I saw this one come in and I was very curious because it
Okay.
has to do with Tiger Woods' grind on
Yeah.
the MG4 wedges.
Yeah.
So currently playing TaylorMade at 56-degree MG4 and I love it. I'm thinking about replacing my current 60-degree with an MG4 TW grind 60. Was wondering if there's any drawbacks to the TW grind to I guess to worry about.
So anytime we're talking about wedges, we're talking about grind and bounce,
Yeah.
right? So and loft. So we got the right gaps. Um, let's analyze what kind of turf interaction we have.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do we need more bounce? Do we need less bounce? Right. So, I mean, Tiger specs are Tiger specs. Okay, and it can be good for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, Me personally, I want something that's got more bounce. If
Yeah.
you put me on a country club driving range with a 7-iron, you can come back in an hour and you might not ever know that I'm there.
Right.
Right? I'm sweeper. I'm not really doing much. You give me a wedge, I'll put in a new sprinkler system for you. So getting that bounce
Mm-hmm.
right is number one for me. And then grind wise, depending on what you want to do with it, having more relief or less relief is
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
what
so
we're
the
gonna look at.
the Tiger one is he likes his bounce.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he uses that bounce really effectively.
Mhm.
And so if you are a player that you can play a high bounce wedge and you have comfort with it, I think there's no reason not to.
So 60, we're looking at it now. So the
Yeah, so
60's 11. It's got the killed leading edge, but it doesn't really have a whole lot of relief to it.
it's shaved. Yeah, they call it shaved here.
Yeah.
But it's not. There's not a ton of relief on the grind.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're somebody that, you know, uh, Tiger Woods can do whatever he wants with any golf club
Right.
anywhere. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
Yeah.
Right. So you could give him a tailor-made high toe Bigfoot, and he could probably figure out how to make that thing
Yeah.
slide up underneath. But if you're looking for something that's got a little more versatility, something with a grind, with a
Yeah.
little more relief, heel toe, might be the way
Yeah.
to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, a couple more here we can get to. Here's a good one from Paul that we were planning on doing a video on here while you're in town.
Yeah.
So this will be good. But would you generally recommend using gap wedge that comes with an iron set, or keep it as part of the specialty wedges set? So I know we've had this discussion before. I think we filmed it's on TikTok. It's on
Yeah.
our TikTok.
Yeah.
We did the same discussion last time.
Traditionally, I like to get the gap wedge with the set.
The iron set.
Yep.
Yep.
And then I never use it. But I'm using it now. The one that I've got with my my Cobra MBs, I am using. I absolutely love the thing. I mean, we're talking making sure that we've got the right gaps.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's really aesthetics. Whether you like the one or the other. It can also depend on what kind of iron we're playing.
True,
If you're playing a game improvement iron and you like to chip with a gap wedge, sometimes that face is a little too fast and it can be hard to control shots around the greens. So you're in a players club, you're probably not having that experience. So kind of just got to be a little mindful in terms
Yeah.
of, even in a player distance iron, those faces are still pretty fast. So, if you're having a hard time controlling,
Yeah.
the chip shots, you might do better with a
True.
aftermarket wedge that's not designed to be,
Yeah. On the other
as
hand, though,
fast.
if you are in a game improvement or player assistance iron, and it might benefit you to have the gap iron or the gap wedge with the set, because it's another club that has those matching properties of the set you're
Sure,
fit
absolutely,
for, and
absolutely.
a little bit more forgiveness maybe on your full swings.
Yep.
So it depends if you use your gap wedge for short game shots,
Yeah.
and if you do, probably a little bit more with the specialty wedges, just because it's going to feel, and the short game shots are going to be easier to control.
Yeah.
You'll know what to expect. But if you primarily use your gap wedge for full swings, and especially if you're in kind of that game improvement category, I think I guess my take would be go with the set. So, we've got a lot here. I love this. This is great. This is great. Moving down here, Eric asking about the i525s. So, what's your long-term take on i525s? And I think you have some in the bag. I know they're on sale at some pretty good prices now. So actually, I have the i500s at the top of my set with i210s right now. i525s, and the testing I've done they're fantastic. They're much more consistent than my i500s. The good thing for me is that my i500s, I don't use them a lot for actual iron shots, because most of the time my approach shots are not with clubs. I rarely do I hit approach shots that are more than 200 yards, and so I'm hitting 7-iron or shorter with my
I thought you were going
i210.
to say longer than 120 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
you're such a beast.
Well, yeah. So there's they're very much a more consistent player resistance iron than most. They have that Micromax grooves on the face, which are very consistent. i500s I have do not have that, so there's a big difference there. And for what it's worth, I am getting new irons here soon, so stay tuned for that. But
I like 525.
525s are good.
Yep, I like 525s.
I think there might be, those are going to be really good offerings here in the next year as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, how about a golf ball comparison to see? So there was a request for a wedge test. If you want to do that, maybe kind of wrap up. We'll wrap up with a wedge test here that I saw from a request up here in the chat. If I can scroll up, I'm trying to scroll, but it's not working. Here we go.
Sorry, my giant cursor is throwing you off.
I don't think it's that. I think I'm not usually looking at a screen to the side. It's usually when I'm on a computer. It's right from. But Paul wanted to see SM9 versus Glide 4.0.
Okay.
And so I don't know if there's a specific loft to look at, but it could just be a matter of.
I'm gonna grab like 56. I think.
Maybe grab 56, similar bounce, and just hit some full swings. See how consistent they are. I think that'd be good, because I think with wedges you're really trying to see the consistency of the club, and maybe the spin rate as well.
Wedges, we don't see massive amounts of variance in terms of spins.
Yeah.
Um,
Or what we could do, here's an idea. We could, I don't know if we have a spray bottle of water. We could do a little spray test.
Good.
I don't know if we can find one anywhere, but that would be a good one. If not, if we don't do it now, we will do a video on that.
We could just bring some cups of water and just dump it on.
Could do that too.
Same effect.
Okay. I'll let you go get the materials for that. We'll do a little test here, and I'll get back to some more of these chat questions. These are good. We don't have a ton of time left, so this might be our last actual swinging comparison. You've got some commitments here coming up, but we do want to get to as many questions that you might have in the chat, so please keep sending them to us as well. Thomas Campbell Golf. Love to hear from that. That's awesome. Thanks for joining and participating in the chat. Hope things are well. That's awesome. It's good to see you in the chat. Alex, best shaft you've seen to generate a little more speed and a 90-mile-an-hour driver swing speed? It's a great question. So I think typically it's, if you're in the 90 miles an hour and you're trying to get more speed, I don't know if it's too much about the shaft model as it is just the flex, torque, things of that nature, the weight, right? So if you're, I don't know what you have right now, Alex. But typically we talked about this at the beginning of the stream. typically, if you're at 90 miles an hour, you're probably, on average, those players fit into a regular flex shaft. Now, there are higher levels of torque that can be had with certain models, but typically a regular flex shaft would be the one to start with. Primarily one that's probably a little bit lighter as well. So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll be back in a minute.
okay. I think the T200 irons are noticeably more forgiving than the T150 and the 7-iron through pitching wedge. I think so. But T150 is pretty stable too. I think that's, I think you'll see some forgiveness. You'll see more distance, though. That's where the difference is going to be with those two. T200 will be more powerful and launch a little bit better than the T150. Just want to make sure. All right. Joe Sal would play the T150 and the 48-degree wedge. I hit send too quick, just talking about the 7-iron through 40. Oh, I see what you're saying, Joe. So you were talking about, you asked about the gap wedge in the set. Yeah, so totally, yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I would play the T150 and the 48-degree. I think that's what the play is for you there, especially like we mentioned, if you are playing and you're going to use your gap wedge primarily for full swings, which is something I do. I think that's what I would prefer. So, Drew, I bet you're going to try T150 versus I230. I230 is absolutely at the top of my list. We can break it down here. So, my list of options for my irons. I know I'm entering the offseason now. I've stuck with my combo of I210s and I500s. I've adjusted them a little bit. I was fit upright for them in a green dot setting. Over the years, the last couple of years, my swing has kind of changed. I'm now more of a standard swinger, so I got my lie angle tweaked back to standard. But clearly, those I500s for me are just, I can make them work sometimes, but there's a little bit of unpredictability there with the distance, some flyers. Someone with my speed, probably it's just a little much. So I am going to be getting a new set of irons here. I230 is absolutely at the top of my list to try, as is the Titleist T series of T100, T150, potentially maybe even a T200 at the top. I know I already have an I crossover 3-iron that's kind of at the top that I love, so I'll probably keep that there, and then sort of 4 through pitching wedge is kind of where I need to make some decisions. Another option, actually, I've been talking with Mr. Larry Bobka, if you don't know, master club fitter here at Second Swing, builds clubs through the Handmade Sticks brand that we have here at Second Swing. He's got his own set of LB1 irons. They are truly just a blade, but he's trying hard to convince me to put those in the bag and give them a try. So that is an option in a sort of X100. He's got very traditional lofts, though, which might mean I have to make some changes there. So the LB1s are certainly an option. Larry's irons, I230s, the Titleist T series. Those are kind of the 3 favorites as of right now. I know the other thing too I need to wait for is that, of course, it's almost January. Typically, we get our new clubs in January that we are exposed to, and I don't want to miss anything by committing to a set now, and then there might be something better for me that's available in January. So I'm gonna wait for on that front, but that's kind of the short list of contenders for me at this moment. So Tyler asking, anything really different between the first Callaway UW and the new one? That's a great question. First of all, the Callaway UW is an absolute rocket launcher. I don't know if any of you viewers have tested this or hit this club. I don't know if Mr. Thomas Campbell is still in the chat, but I remember testing the original one with him, and we were flabbergasted by the distance because it was more or less as far, if not further, distance-wise than a 3 would. And so that thing can be a missile launcher. The new one this year, we tested it, and we haven't tested them head-to-head, however, the previous model versus the new one. That is a great one and a great idea that we can test for a video that we could put on the YouTube channel, and we probably will. I will say that I thought the new one was a little bit. I thought the look was refined a lot more. I think that was a big difference. But in terms of the performance, I don't anticipate a huge difference. I think they're just both. Whatever Callaway's doing with those irons to pack the performance is working. A lot of speed, a lot of explosiveness off the face there. Shannon, the TaylorMade P7 MC, also fantastic. I have dabbled with those as well. Certainly a fantastic club. And I think we'll definitely, I thought about testing that one. I just like the look of the IT30 and the look of the T Series, just maybe a little bit better. All right, so we've got probably about 5 minutes here. So we'll do our quick wedge test. We've got the SM9, and we've got a Glide 4.0. And so let's do a quick comparison of those two here. What do we got for lofts here, Kevin?
So 56, got 12D grind on the Yuki, which is what I would play there, and the 12-degree S grind on this one. So we've got
Sweet.
We got two very, very similar setups.
Okay. Sweet. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to reset on the TrackMan. And as we wrap up here, viewers, if you have any more questions, you can drop them in the comments of this video so that we'll be sure to see them and we can answer them there, and or we can maybe even do a whole video on them for all I know. So
thanks for participating today.
Yes,
by
thank
the way.
you for the engagement and participation. We're going to try to do some more of these here moving forward as well. So, all right. 4.0. Or no, sorry.
No, that is what's in my hand.
So 56 degree, 12 bounce.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Now this is another completely different club for you, Kevin. We're throwing you for another loop here.
All right. You're gonna have to hit these at some point.
Do you have a 56 degree in the bag, Kevin?
I do now.
Okay.
I just made some changes, so I'm experimenting as I'm trying to figure out what the bottom of this bag really needs to look like. I threw a 56 in, and I've got a 62.
Okay.
Now.
Oh wow.
So,
okay. I'm asking
because I'm getting funkier as I go. I guess
that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Mr. Bradley Harrelson in the chat as well. That's great.
Love
that.
Pete Harrelson, love that. Saw Thomas Campbell was in there too.
Yeah.
Great.
Bradley is asking about the Dynamic Gold Mid. How is it working in some of the new offerings as a shaft?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Seems to be good. I haven't done a lot with it yet. I expect that's going to kick up this next season.
Right. How's the feel of the Glide 4.0?
Feels good. Solid, pretty responsive. Feels like the turf interaction's good. I mean, this is what I would typically play anyway. So I'm just not used to steel, but that's okay. Looks are good. I think we're seeing that I actually swing wedges better than anything else. Okay. So those are pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers.
That's a disgusting dispersion. All right, so that was the Glide 4. We got dispersion. We're hitting about 100 yards. I think if you need a 100-yard shot, Kevin, I think you go get a Glide 4.0, throw it in the bag of 56 degrees, 12 bounce.
Yeah,
all good.
That's kind of what I need a 56 for at this point.
All right, I'll give you the SM9 here. We'll make the adjustment on TrackMan. That's a disgusting dispersion. That's all.
Thank you.
You have a lot to live up to here.
Anytime in golf, somebody's telling you that you're disgusting or is mad at you, you've probably done something good.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Do you notice anything different look or feel after one shot of the SM9?
SM9s feel a little heavier. That's kind of a hallmark of Vokey. It seems like they feel a little bit heavier. Shape's good. Truth be told, I love pretty much all wedges, so I'm kind of predisposed to like everything. I just can't play them all because I
Right.
don't have
Well,
that much space in my
in
back.
theory, you could play
But
14 wedges if you want, but that might be,
makes for a long day, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. They all
Um,
feel good.
your spin consistency through 2 shots with the SM9 is 4.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
If you're getting something low 93s, that's going to be 94. Still pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Got a little more distance out of the Glide
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
But still very small dispersion patterns for both of
It's
them.
a wedge, Drew. Come on, man.
I know. Hey, I don't do
I
that.
am technically, at least, I'm a professional.
Yeah.
On the side, right? I'm not like
You're a
full-time
pro-
professional
you're a
or
pro
anything, but
golfer.
I'm on the side.
Yeah. Here's our, comparison. We did see spin consistency with the SM9
Yep.
is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that is pretty good. So
but-
interestingly, though, right? We had more club head speed with the SM9.
Yeah.
Maybe due to weight, possibly. About 40% of people will swing something that's heavier, faster.
Yeah.
60% will swing lighter, faster. Conventional wisdom
Interesting.
says lighter.
Did not know that.
This is just what I've learned through all these years, right? Ball speed was faster off the ping. So
Yeah.
if smash factor is up a little bit, spin rates, okay, we're almost 400 RPM difference. That's fairly significant.
We shouldn't say. We should clarify. Wedge spin can be good or bad. A ton of it, right?
Yeah,
When we're talking about
yeah.
this. Like you might, if you spin the ball a lot already, you don't need more spin. So there's spin is obviously your friend in the sense of maybe controlling the golf ball, but you have to know how to control it. If you
Yeah.
hit the ball high on a windy day with a ton of spin, you lose control in that sense.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but there's just clear differences here where the SM9 for you was just spinning a little bit more and
Yeah.
maybe not as fast, but
Yep.
with a wedge, you're not really looking for speed.
But numbers across the board are exceptionally similar,
Yeah.
right? I mean, landing angle's about the same,
Right.
height's about the same.
You're hitting the same golf shot essentially
Yeah.
with all 8 of
Yeah,
these swings.
for sure.
All right, there's our SM9 versus Glide 4.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I
think-
like them both. I could play both.
I think we're kind of already past our time frame here that we
Yeah.
were shooting for. So we're gonna start to wrap up here. And Kevin, this was fun. I think
No,
we're
this is
gonna-
great.
we're
I'd
gonna
love
try
to do more of
again.
this. I'd love to do more of this. Get
Um,
more engagement with
Yeah.
with everybody out there. I think it's a wonderful way to to try to get people. They want to see things.
Yeah.
We want to give them things.
Yeah,
So,
and we will take more of these ideas too that we didn't get to and make some videos with them. So
Yeah, perfect.
stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends to subscribe to the channel. Kevin, thank you for joining.
Absolutely.
Viewers, thank you for engaging. We loved it.
Yes, thank
and
you.
we will see you next time on the Second Swing YouTube channel.